Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar, Ireland 2020, All You Need to Know, brought to you by Tourism Ireland and Baxter Media. I'm Dan McDonald from Baxter and today's Wednesday, March 11th. So before we get into things, I'd like to let the viewers know that if you have any questions at all during this webinar, feel free to type them into the Q&A box, which is found in your Zoom toolbar, and those questions will be answered after the presentations have wrapped up. Also, if you have any problems hearing or seeing the presentation, just type a quick message into the chat box and I'll do my best to assist you. Speaking first today is Sandra Moffat, Trade and Digital Marketing Executive for Tourism Ireland. Hi Sandra, how are you today?
Very well, Dan. Thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So of course, since you're already displaying your screen for us, you can get into things whenever you're ready.
Perfect. So thank you everybody, as Dan said, for joining us today. As we know, it's a very busy time for all of us here in the travel industry, so we do really appreciate your time. Today, what we're going to talk about is a little bit about Ireland 2020 and what's going on and what to expect there. And then we'll turn it over to our fantastic partners. So with us today, we have David Cleary from EPIC, the Irish Emigration Museum in Dublin. We have Lisa Marshall from Loch Esk Castle in Donegal. And we also have Bridget Brew from Galway 2020. After that, we'll turn it over to a question and answer session where you can ask us anything that you need to know about the island of Ireland. We are also offering a prize today, so a beautiful Waterford crystal vase from ourselves at Tourism Ireland, and we will ask a question at the end of this webinar. The first person to answer correctly in the chat box will win our beautiful Waterford crystal vase. As Dan also said, if you have any questions throughout the session for myself or for our partners from Ireland, just pop it into the chat box and we'll be sure to answer it at the end of this session. So this is myself. I am Sandra Moffat, Trade and Digital Marketing Executive at Tourism Ireland, and my contact information is there should you ever need to reach out about anything you need to know about Ireland, and we will share my contact information as well as all of our partners by email after the session as well. So to kick off, Ireland is closer than you might think. We have direct air access from 5 cities across Canada. Vancouver and Montreal with Air Canada, Calgary and Halifax with WestJet, and of course Toronto with year-round access with Air Canada and Aer Lingus, and seasonal access from Transat, all into Dublin, Ireland's capital city. So from Dublin, you can easily access Belfast, for example, in Northern Ireland within 2 hours by public transit or by car, as well as Galway, which you'll hear lots more about shortly, in under 3 hours. There's no bad time to go to Ireland. It's a question that we do get a lot, because not only is our climate mild and temperate year-round, we also have something happening at all times of the year. So here is just a sample of some of the festivals that we have running year-round. A few highlights include Tradfest, which actually just finished up in January, which showcases Ireland's amazing music scene, and it gives visitors access to unique spaces to enjoy music, with concerts in cathedrals and quirky venues all over Dublin City that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. But if you don't make it for Tradfest, not to worry, you can enjoy incredible music in any local pub across the country on any night of the week. So there's always great music. It's never in short supply in Ireland. Another one to highlight is Halloween. So if you didn't know, Ireland is the birthplace of Halloween, with it stemming from the ancient pagan festival of Samhain. You might know that as Samhain, S-A-M-H-A-I-N. That is Ireland's festival for Halloween, and we celebrate that all across the country. So a festival in Ireland's ancient east is Puka. That happens over the Halloween weekend. We have Bram Stoker Festival, of course, the author of Dracula, that takes place in Dublin City over 4 or 5 days. And we also have Derry Halloween, which was voted best place to spend Halloween. We also have Taste the Island. So if any of you have heard of Taste the Island, let us know in the chat box. I'm really curious about this. The inaugural festival was last year in 2019. So it's very, very new. The festival consisted of over 700 foodie events across the country, and it runs from September to November. It'll also happen this year in 2020, and it highlights the high quality of Ireland's culinary product. So a lot of people don't think of food when they think of Ireland, but they really, really should. It's the feedback that we hear back from you guys and from consumers time and time again. So we're an island, so our seafood is incredible, and the farm to fork movement is also huge in Ireland over the last, 5 or 7 years. In fact, watch out for updates from Chef JP McMahon, a Michelin star chef from Galway, who will be with us in Toronto this week. And he'll feature on Your Morning, the Marilyn Dennis Show, and Global Morning, and he'll be with us over the next few days. So make sure to follow us on social media, where I'll be sharing lots about that and about the food scene in Ireland. Another thing to watch out for is the global greening. This takes place over St. Patrick's Day. So we turn iconic landmarks all across the world green to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So watch out for 25 sites in Canada going green this year. That'll include the CN Tower, as you can see here, Niagara Falls, and even Mac the Moose in Saskatchewan and this Beaver in Calgary. So again, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and see all the fun photos that we'll be sharing over the coming week or so. And if you want to learn more about what's going on in the country for your clients, make sure to visit ireland.com, or even extensive events calendar available. Another interesting announcement for this year is Northern Ireland, Embrace a Giant Spirit. So this is a brand new experience brand for Northern Ireland. It's very exciting, and we will be officially launching this to our Canadian trade probably at the end of April. It was launched at World Travel Market late last year. And this will consist of 23 signature experiences all across the island. So an example of what this will look like is whiskey on the rocks, for example. So what do you get when you combine whiskey and geology? You get whiskey on the rocks. And that is where you can enjoy a glass of Bushmills whiskey while sitting on the Giant's Causeway. Another must-visit location, which I won't talk too much about because you'll hear from Brigitte shortly, is Galway 2020, European Capital of Culture. And this was voted Best in Travel 2020 by Lonely Planet. Part of this program of Galway 2020 will feature some info on GAA. So that is the Gaelic Games. It's hurling, camogie, Gaelic football, which not only offers a physical workout, but the opportunity to really delve into Irish culture. The sport is practically a religion in many parts of Ireland, and it's been played for around 4,000 years. This also topped Lonely Planet's unique sports to try on your travels for 2020. And another must-visit location for us this year is, of course, Donegal, which was once voted coolest place on the planet by National Geographic Travel. Lots of things make this one of the coolest places in the world, and it's not just me being biased saying that. As I said, we have the National Geographic accreditation to back that up, but it has amazing blue flag beaches. It has a great surf and music festival known as Sea Sessions that takes place in June every year, and it also has Slieve League, which is beautiful sea cliffs that are over 3 times higher than the cliffs of Moher. It's a super beautiful, unspoiled area of the country, and you'll hear more about that from Lisa from Lough Esk, where Lough Esk Castle is based. And Ireland really is a destination with a difference. A lot of people do ask us about castle homes and staying in castles and manor homes while they're in Ireland. So you'll hear a little bit more about that. But before we take a trip to Donegal and to Galway, our first stop from Canada to Ireland is, of course, Dublin. So I'll now hand over to David Cleary from EPIC, the Irish Emigration Museum, who will share some highlights of this award-winning attraction with you. Over to you, David.
Thank you, Sandra. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be joining you here from the heart of Dublin. My name is David Cleary, and I'm the head of sales at EPIC, the Irish Emigration Museum. We are still a relatively new museum, so it's my pleasure to be able to tell you a little bit more about what we do and how we can welcome you and your clients to learn a little bit more about Ireland and also what it means to be Irish. My contact details are on the screen, and I'll share them with you at the very end also if you require any further information. So Sandra, we can flick forward to the next slide and we'll get started. The first thing that I want to show you is the beautiful building that EPIC Museum is located in. This on the right hand side is the CHQ building, and it's a former whiskey, wine and tobacco warehouse that dates from 1817, so over 200 years old. It was refurbished in the early 2000s, and as well as being home to EPIC, it's got a collection of bars, cafes and restaurants for people to enjoy in a unique and historic setting. You'll also notice the mention of something which we're particularly proud of, which is our World Travel Award in 2019 as Europe's leading tourist attraction, beating such competition as the Colosseum in Rome, the Eiffel Tower, the Acropolis, and many more. EPIC has only been open for a little over 3.5 years, so it's a great testament to us from all of our visitors. So on our next slide, you'll get to see the map of Dublin. So this just gives you a little perspective about where Epic is located in the heart of Dublin. As you may already be aware, Dublin is split into the north and south by the River Liffey. It's a great city to allow people to walk around, as most places are easily accessible on foot within a few minutes. Epic is located right on the River Liffey, approximately 10 minutes walk from the main street of O'Connell Street, and we're also a 12-minute walk from Trinity College, as you'll see. So very, very central in Dublin. So on the next slide, you'll get to see what Epic is all about. So I'm really excited to tell you about what the story of Epic is and how we showcase this story to our visitors. We tell the story of 1,500 years of Irish history, culture and heritage as we look at the reasons that the 10 million Irish people that have emigrated in this period. We look at the reasons why people were emigrating and where they went to, either wanting to journey abroad or being forced to emigrate. We also look at how these people traveled and where they went to. We tell the story in quite a new way, as Epic is the world's first fully digital museum, and it's designed to be a self-guided museum with an average dwell time of 90 minutes. Of course, being digital, there's a lot of information in the museum, so people can tend to spend up to 6 and 7 hours in the museum. Because it's self-guided, it's up to each person's own preference. We of course do offer more tailored tours and guided tours as well, but you can contact me and we can go into a little bit more detail about that later on. So on our next slide, coming back to our emigrants, as we tell the stories of where these people emigrated to, we also look at their influence on the world, as they brought the Irish culture with them. We celebrate the Irish influence and the connections around the world by looking at some of the Irish stereotypes. And we look to explain why there's more to Irish people than our stereotypes, such as leprechauns and shamrocks, why we love drink, why we love potatoes, why we speak so quickly, why we all have red hair. We really celebrate Irishness, but we celebrate our poets, our writers, our explorers, our sports stars, our activists, and even the notorious Irish. We explain that we all come from somewhere, but that the Irish story and the impact on the world is a story worth telling. So on the next slide, we get to see some of that links of the Irish in Canada. As the Irish immigrants journeyed throughout the world, the majority of them would have traveled to North America, with Canada being a major destination. As we have such strong links with Canada, especially through the Irish diaspora, we take an in-depth look at these links and how they developed. As we can see on screen, there are 4.5 million Canadians that trace their ancestors to Ireland. A huge number of your clients will want to visit Ireland to either connect with this heritage or to trace it through genealogy. We do offer a genealogy service in Epic, which I'll speak a little bit more about in a few minutes. To explore some of the other Irish Canadian links though, one of my favourite pieces of info that you'll see on the screen is that the only Gaeltacht located outside of Ireland is in Tamworth, Ontario. The Gaeltacht areas are locations that still speak Irish for everyday use, and it's an incredible piece of our Irish culture, so it's great to see it expanding to Ontario through our immigrants and the diaspora. You'll also see some of the Canadian Prime Ministers that are of Irish descent, but I'm not going to dwell too much on that because you never know someone's political persuasion, no matter what country you're talking about. So on the next slide, we're going to briefly look at our genealogy service and how your clients that are traveling to Ireland may want to do some research into their ancestry. As well as telling the story of Irish immigration, we also partner with the Irish Family History Centre to offer a full genealogy research service in the museum. There are a range of options that people can avail of, starting with some DIY research with access to the Irish records. But the more popular options are to book either a 30-minute, 60-minute or 90-minute appointment with one of our genealogists. Some of the content that I have up on the screen will be particularly useful for you and allow you to pass this on to your clients, which will allow them to do some initial research while still in Canada before they make their vacation voyage. It'll make the most of their time in Ireland tracing their family history also. We'll be sharing the slides with you after the webinar, so don't worry about getting all of this info down straight away. We want the genealogy service to be as easy and as open to everyone as possible. So we're here to help with guiding your clients to allow them to have a powerful and meaningful experience learning about where they've come from. The service is suitable for people only beginning the genealogy journey, right up to those that have a lot of research done, but maybe they've become stuck and are looking for help. So essentially on the next slide, you'll see just a brief synopsis of the story of Epic. I hope that you've enjoyed hearing a little bit about what we do and how we tell the story of Irish immigration over 1,500 years and the influence of the 10 million Irish people that travelled and immigrated all over the world, and how we share the influence with the Irish diaspora, the 70 million people plus that claim Irish heritage. On the screen, you'll see just a reminder of some of the points that I've mentioned on the previous slides. And at the very bottom of the screen, you'll see my email address if you have any further queries for me. I'd love to hear from you at davidcleary@epicchq.com. We do work with all the major Canadian and North American operators already, but you can contact us for commissionable rates also. And if ever you're in Dublin, there's a warm welcoming waiting from me, as I'd love to show you around the museum in person. So just let me know. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the webinar.
Thank you very much, David.
Sorry, so thanks so much, David. I really can't recommend Epic, the Irish Immigration Museum, enough for all of you on the webinar and for your clients. It really is a must-visit location, and not only for those with Irish ancestry. I've been there for like 4 or 5 times now, and you can easily spend 90 minutes or more enjoying that museum. So thank you so much, David. I will now hand over to Lisa Marshall from Loch S Castle in County Donegal.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the introduction, Sandra. I'm delighted to be saying I'm in Donegal in the castle basement right now, actually, in the cellar. So live from Donegal as such. So I'll just continue on with the presentation there. Loch S Castle is, as mentioned, in County Donegal, just 10 minutes outside Donegal town. So Donegal is actually the county most northwest in Ireland. It is in the Republic, so we are in the Euro, but we're directly next door to Northern Ireland, which also has the pound, so we take both, just to answer that question straight away. But Loch Esk, essentially, a loch is a lake, so if you want to move on to the next slide there, Sandra, that'd be great. And the lake, as you can see, that's the bottom of the castle, at the bottom of the screen there. We're right beside beautiful Loch Esk, which S stands for fish, and loch is a lake. So as you can see there, we're right on the shores. The castle itself dates all the way back to the 1700s, and actually we have ruins there from the 1100s as well. I'll go through the history very shortly. So basically the castle, as you can see, very similar background to Canada, has beautiful forestry there. There's about 42 acres of land there. We're only 10 minutes away from a small town, which I'll go into shortly. If you can go on to the next slide there, Sandra, that'd be great. We can see the LE logo there just underneath Donegal Airport. So you can see where we are. We're located 3 hours from Dublin Airport if you were to land in and drive all the way up to Donegal. And we're located 2 hours from Belfast International Airport as well. So plenty of connections. If you were to decide not to do a whole tour of Ireland and go directly to Donegal, you could fly into Dublin Airport and catch a short flight via Aer Lingus to Donegal Airport. And Donegal Airport has one of the most beautiful scenery. I'll show you that in a short while as well. Traditionally, I'm sure all of you, if you haven't sold Ireland, or you may have sold Ireland, a majority of our guests come from the North American market. We come into Dublin Airport, spend maybe a couple of nights in Dublin, go to the Epic immigration, and also drive up to Belfast, spend typically a couple of nights there. We actually have a sister hotel called the Titanic Hotel Belfast as well, and then come over to Donegal, and the average length of stay with us would be two to three nights. There is so much to explore in Donegal, which we'll go through shortly, but to finish the rest of the tour, they would typically go down to the south, and the next stop might be Ashford Castle or Dare Manor, and then go back across. So that's a beautiful 8 to 10 day itinerary where you're really getting a taste of a different part of Ireland. Traditionally, as you would know, most guests would head into the south, and Cork and Kerry and Shannon, which are equally gorgeous. But I think Donegal very much so has, they've really been off the beaten path. It's a bit of a hidden gem. I hate those words, but it's the best way to describe it. And to give you an indication, our North American market has increased from maybe 10-15% occupancy in the last 4 years ago to nearly 35-40%. So it's a big swing, and the rest of our accommodation is national market. So you have a real sense of being in Ireland and being somewhere where the locals are. You can take me to the next slide there, that'd be great, Sandra. To give a little taste of Donegal, so you mentioned National Geographic, Sandra. The top left-hand picture is Slieve League. Slieve League is the highest sea cliffs in Europe, so they're 3 times the height of the Cliffs of Moher, and actually they're about an hour's drive away from the castle. Really stunning, free of charge. There's not big tour bus queues. You know, you really get a sense of the stunning coastline of Ireland without having to be with the crowds. The bottom left-hand picture, I actually took that picture myself. I like horse riding. It's just to showcase some of the activities we have in Donegal. You have some of those beautiful sandy beaches, and about half an hour you have from the castle. You have horse riding, kayaking, golfing, all sorts of different activities. You know, canoeing on the sea there as well. So, and all very affordable. So there's lots of activities if you're outdoorsy. You'll see obviously the top right-hand picture. Where would you be in Donegal without enjoying the crack? And the crack being fun, not of a horrible drug use, just to be sure. And basically what that means is you're enjoying the local activities at you know, night time. You go to the pub. Donegal is known for musicians. Enya, the famous singer, is from Donegal. And honestly, I'm a Scottish person. You might hear different accents, so I can say this and not be biased. A lot of people in Donegal are really good singers, and they're keen to showcase it. So if you go out on a night out, you're going to hear it. We have traditional music actually in the castle every night of the week in our cellar. But 10 minutes drive from the castle, you have a little town, Donegal town. There's about 30 pubs and restaurants there where you can really enjoy traditional music and get a sense of the culture. The bottom right-hand picture is our Donegal airport. As you can see, look at those white sandy beaches. You really feel like you could almost be in the Caribbean, not Donegal. And you land in between these 2 beaches, and they've actually won most scenic airport landing in the world for the last 2 or 3 years. And so it's an experience to actually jump a flight from Dublin to Donegal. If you could forward on to the next picture, Sandra, that'd be great. And this is actually short. Oh, sorry, the video's not working. That's fine. And this is the castle itself. So to focus on the castle, we're the only 5-star property in County Donegal and pretty much the northwest. We're unaffiliated at the moment. We work with Ensemble Travel, just in case I know there's quite a lot of the Canadian market would come through Ensemble with us, and we do have a perk program there as well. But the castle itself has 97 bedrooms. Beautiful frontage. The history of the castle, sorry Sandra, if you go to the next slide. The history of the castle, as I mentioned, there is ruins there from the 1100s, but I'm not going to bore you to death because we could be here for another 20 minutes. But to give you an idea, it really was run by the British aristocracy. It was run like a Downton Abbey, you know, lots of hunting parties and fishing, and you can see that man there. He's actually just leisurely lying. What's behind the camera is a tennis court back in the day. Now it's a helipad we've modernised. And basically, it really was a place to come relax. And you still have that sense there. And we actually offer complimentary history tours every morning at 11 a.m. And basically, we could, our doorman actually take you around and they showcase the castle, you know, from all different points, from architecture, who was the owners, all the way through to, you know, sort of the history of the castle itself. If you want to move on to the next slide. This is our doorman there in the top left-hand corner. I took that picture at the end of autumn last year. And you can see they have their Donegal caps on. And Donegal is known for Irish tweed. So they actually have handmade tweed there from Donegal town, 10 minutes away. And they actually have tweed throughout their uniforms there. And you can see actually the bottom left-hand picture there is actually one of the oldest parts of the castle that goes back to the 1700s. If you move to the next slide, Sandra. An aerial shot there of the castle grounds. So this is to the rear of the castle. You can see the glass house on the left-hand side is our spa. It has an indoor pool. Originally there was a glass house in Donegal where you had the gardeners grow fruits and vegetables. And what we did is we converted that space into a spa. So we have 7 treatment rooms and we actually have a spa as our product. On the right-hand side we have 7 garden suites allocated outside the building, or 1,500 square feet in size. So the only accommodation outside. Beautiful background there, you see the Blue Stat Mountains. We encourage everyone to get out and explore. So we offer complimentary rucksacks, maps, and walking sticks to go and explore as well. Thanks, Sandra. This is the lobby to give an idea of the interior of the castle. What actually happened with the castle was in 1939 there was a fire and the castle was actually ruined and was left for 60 years. So our owner bought the castle, who's actually a Donegal man. He bought the castle in 2006, spent 40 million euros renovating the castle, and as you can see what he did was look at actually old pictures of the castle and put the staircase back in exactly how it was. And if you move on there, Sandra, as well. And beautiful drawing rooms. So he actually found pictures of oak panelling which was in the drawing rooms, and he replaced that exactly how it is. But he put some modern touches into the hotel as well. But you really have a sense of that you're back in how it used to be when it was hosting sort of Downton Abbey parties. Next, Sandra. This is one of our new bedrooms. We've just refreshed our bedrooms. We have 97 bedrooms in total. We have 65 of this category. This is pretty much our entry-level category for your guests. It's 500 square feet in size. And Sandra, if you go to the next picture, big beautiful bathrooms. You have separate bathrooms, separate shower, dual vanity sinks, all the modern facilities, but in a castle. And Sandra, if you move on to the next image. This is one of our castle rooms. We have 5 castle rooms in the traditional part of the castle, and basically the castle rooms actually date all the way back to the 1800s, and they're all different shapes and sizes. If you move on to the next image, Sandra, you can see here, this is our Major General White Suite. It's 2,000 square feet in size, very big. It has beautiful bathtub, as you can see there. You've got a massive living area as well there. Actually, we have a lot of guests come over here, and basically it's used this as their living space and area. So if you just move this on to the next picture, Sandra, that'd be great. As you can see there, this is our gallery bar on the top left-hand corner here. We have every whiskey known to man up there. So we have over 300 different types of whiskey. And guests really can go up there and enjoy a cocktail pre-dinner. You can see in the bottom left-hand, we have our lobby lounge. The key thing about Loch Esk Castle is lots of nooks and crannies for you to go and relax, and also afternoon tea as well, which you can see in the top right-hand corner. If you can move on, Sandra, that'd be great. And this is a new addition to the hotel. This is the Father Brown Bar. The Father Brown Bar was opened in August last year, and it's in the cellar of the castle, and it's named after a Jesuit priest called Father Brown. Father Brown was actually on the Titanic. Lucky for us, he managed to get off the Titanic because his boss had told him to get off, the bishop, at Cove in Cork. And lucky he did, because what he did was he actually gave us images of the Titanic sailing. And what we did, and our owners did, is we actually took 200 images from a 47,000 image gallery that he left behind unprocessed over his whole lifetime. And you can see some of the imagery there. They're just photographs of all over Ireland that just wouldn't have been found normally, including a selfie on the right-hand side there, a barber shop in the 30s. Real addition, a fantastic addition to the hotel, covered in Travel and Leisure magazine, and it also has traditional music every night of the week, and you have seafood chowder and all sorts of Donegal treats there. And then on to the next picture. This is our chef team. Now, our restaurant's been refurbished at the moment, but it gives you an indication of what they're looking for. We actually have 2 brothers, so our head pastry chef and head chef. They really delight on using Donegal sourcing, you know, seafood, seaweed, all sorts going on there that basically you know you're in Donegal when you're here. It's making me hungry actually, it's tea time here, so moving on to the next picture. This is our pool, our indoor pool, and then in the last picture here, this gives an indication of our spa. As I mentioned, 7 spa treatment rooms, beautiful big jacuzzi. Spa is our product here. So that gives you a little snapshot, last picture there, Sandra, of Loch Esk Castle. So the key thing you have to remember is Donegal has it all. That's all you have to remember. And Loch Esk Castle, lock like a key and esk like a desk. So you have to remember Donegal, you'll think of Loch Esk Castle, beautiful 5-star property.
That's fantastic, Lisa. Thank you. Donegal has it all is my new favourite saying. And I love that you're broadcasting live from a castle basement. Like, how Irish is that? I've had the pleasure of staying at Loch Esk Castle, and I really have to say it's bucket list stuff. It's fantastic. It really, really is. So for all of you on the webinar, definitely do make it a must visit for your clients. And if you guys, again, have any questions for David or Lisa so far, be sure to put them in the chat box here so we can make sure to answer them for you at the end of the session. So now I will hand over to Brigitte Brew, who is Head of Tourism for Galway 2020 European Capital of Culture.
Hi everybody, my name is Brigitte and I'm calling from Galway, the bilingual capital of Ireland, centred right in the middle of the Wild Atlantic Way. And I must say, I really want to go to Loch Esk, like tonight.
Don't we all?
I hope you're all booking your flights immediately via Dublin and Epic and lovely David up there. Anyway, hard act to follow, but hopefully you'll consider adding any part of the region of Galway into your travel plans when in Ireland. As I said, we're in the centre of the Wild Atlantic Way. We have won and secured the European Capital of Culture designation. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for any nation in Europe. So this only comes around once every 15 years. So for that reason alone, it's a terrific time for you to really consider, if you're coming to Ireland, make it 2020 and include Lough Esk and Dublin and all the other parts of Ireland, as well as sometime in Galway when you're here. The European Capital of Culture is a regional designation. It's national, obviously, for the whole country, but I want to emphasize it's not only for the city of Galway, it is also for the county. We can move on, Sandra. I think that shows the map of Europe there and all the other former Capital of Cultures that have been designated across Europe to date since 1985. So we have a program that started in February and is ending in January, and that is a bit of an odd calendar, you might say, but of course it's not odd to those of all of us that are Celtic, and pre-Christian is the timeline that we're using, and we're using Gaelic references and pre-Christian timelines to the calendar, and we're calling it Imbolc, Bealtaine, Lunasa and Samhain. Samhain came up earlier when Sandra was talking about the festival around Puacha, and it's Halloween, and it's part of Ireland reclaiming our Halloween heritage. So Samhain is our fourth quarter of our calendar of events throughout the year. So the theme of Galway 2020 is landscape, language and people. So all programs or everything event or gig that you will participate in or see or witness has to address those three themes, which are landscape, language and people. So we'll move on, Sandra. And as I said, every event is happening either in the city or the county, urban or rural. 50% of the program is held in an urban setting, 50 rural, and there's about 24 events that are going across both. It's a multi-million pound project, and it will be running literally from February to January. So one of the, what I'm going to show you now is a few heroes, as we call them, from the program. The program has 2,000 events. It is happening all year, but I've just selected a handful that may be of interest to the Canadian market. So Druid is a world-renowned theatre company based in Galway, and they're going back to their roots by taking the Galway tour to towns and villages across the county. So lucky you if you happen to be in any one of these towns and villages in the coming months and have a world-class performance happening in a local village hall. So that's what's to look out for there. Following this then, from the period of April, May to July, John Gerard's Mirrored Pavilion will be on display. It's an outdoor exhibition or art form that will be on display in the Claddagh. The Claddagh in Galway is the pier or the coastal area, fishing village area of the city, and we call it the Claddagh Basin. And John Gerard's piece will be available for view there and for you to interact with and be amazed. He exhibits all over the world, including the Museum of Modern Art in LA. Then it'll also be placed in the bog in Clifton later in the year, the Derry Limna Bog. So that's an example of a piece of work being used in the landscape. 80% of the program is free, and we hope that literally you will bump into aspects of it when you're here. In August, this is called a Balancing Act for Europe. It's run by Galway Community Circus in collaboration with European partners. All the programs have a European partner. 400 young people will be taught how to walk across tight ropes across the very fast flowing River Corrib that is in the middle of Galway City, and that's going to be quite a profound and deep, well, deep in the sense of thoughtful. The river is also deep that they're going to be tight walking over, and they're doing it in support of mental health and other challenges that young people face. So next we are going to show you a little bit about Waterlicht, and this is this is going to be located, and I'm not supposed to tell you where, but anyway, in one of the most iconic sites in Connemara. It's a very well-known castle, a bit like, very like Loch Esk actually. And it will be light and mist and music. You will be submerged in the landscape in light and mist and music, and it is going to give you the feeling of a rising tide, and obviously to help us bear in mind and be concerned about rising tides and the environment. So this is being followed by the GAA participation in our European Capital of Culture programme in another village hall near you, a GAA village hall. You will come across plays. This play is a comedy. It is also dealing with mental health, but it's all around the game of hurling. So it's going to be everything we do best, you know, our tragedy and our joy and our witticism will be in a village hall near you as well. Again, another lovely treat for you to be able to access when you're here. So laced throughout the programme, and without pulling anything out in particular, is Irish music and dance. We've Céilís at the Crossroads happening at St. Patrick's weekend and in April, and they're Céilí Mórs, and that means the Irish word for Céilí is get together and mór is bigger, and Ceoltas is the organisation that organises music. And I bet we've some Irish speakers, because I met 2 Irish speakers when I was in Canada with Tourism Ireland last year. But Galway, being the bilingual capital of Ireland, has a bilingual programme, and we have a huge amount of traditional music laced through it and brought forward. The Mighty Ocean is another concert that's being performed in September by a leading local Irish musician and his daughters, and that'll be quite something to see. It's called The Mighty Ocean. And that more or less is it from me in summary. For all our events listing, please check out our website at galway2020.ie. And my best advice is to sign up for updates from our newsletter. If you all sign up, you'll be kept abreast of what's happening in our programme and when things are on, and if there are any changes to that. And Goramila Mahagwiv for listening to us, and thank you very much for your interest in coming to visit Ireland.
Thank you so much, Bridget. That was fantastic. There really is something for everybody going on in Galway this year. So as Bridget said, make sure to visit their website and make sure to sign up to their newsletter so you don't miss out any updates on that programme. It really is an opportunity to get a true sense of Irish culture and immerse yourself in that. And it is only happening this year, so it's a not to miss for sure. So Gurv Mahagut, which means thank you very much in Gaeilge in Irish, to all of our partners and to yourselves for joining us. I am going to give you a quick update now on what us ourselves here at Tourism Ireland can do for you. So in addition to webinars such as these, we can do sales calls to agencies and individual training seminars if that's of interest to your offices. We do have a newsletter that goes out quarterly with product updates and announcements for the island of Ireland. So if you are not signed up to that, visit ireland.com and make sure to sign up to that. We offer local market advice. So we have our offices here in Toronto at Young and Bloor. We're available by phone or by email 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, at any time for any questions that you might have. We do promotional literature as well. So on the website, ireland.com, you can place an order for your office. You'll see our full inventory there if you need our magazines. We have them available in English and in French. They come with maps. We have pens, we have pins, we have guidebooks. We have everything that you need there for clients interested in Ireland, who have booked for Ireland, or if you just want to have a stock of those in your offices for prospective clients. And then as well, new last year was our Travel Trade Insiders Facebook group. So for those of you who are on Facebook, we have a dedicated private Facebook group for you guys in the travel trade. It's a two-way opportunity to connect with us, to ask us any questions that you might have, and we give updates on everything happening here in the market in Canada, whether that is webinars, sales events, our workshops. We're on the road. We just got back from a 4-city sales mission in Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and Langley in February. We'll be going out to Ottawa, Laval, and Halifax in September. You'll get all the event invites there. And we also put up our fam trip application forums on that group as well. So definitely sign up to that if you are on Facebook. If you are not on Facebook, not to worry, we do also issue those by email on the quarterly newsletters. I'll send out the URL to all of you for that group after this session. I have mentioned Ireland.com, but I just want to highlight that this really is a resource for you for everything you need to know about Ireland. It has content from the inspiration stage to practical tips and planning for your clients, whether it's trip ideas or video content, everything that you need is there. It's a really great resource and hub for you to use. And we do also have Ireland's content pool. So you can see the URL for this on your screens there, www.irelandscontentpool.com. There are over 45,000 image and video assets in high resolution for you to download and use free of charge, whether it's for your websites, social media, any use that you might have for Ireland content. You just type in what you need in the search box there, and that is available to you free of charge. I've mentioned our social channels a few times, so here is our handles. Make sure that you are following us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. We also use the hashtag #LoveIreland. So if you're posting any content on Ireland, we'd love if you use this hashtag so that we can see it and we can share it. Lastly, we're going to turn it over to our question and answer session. So please feel free to ask us anything. I did mention the question about winning our prize. So my question to be eligible to win that prize is, how many cities in Canada have direct flights into Ireland? So type in the chat box. The first person to answer that successfully will win our beautiful Waterford Crystal vase. So I see your answers coming in.
So first we had a 5 and then we had a 6. That's the order they came in.
They did.
And
so
there was a 5 in the Q&A box, and then there was a 6 in the chat box.
I see that. So I think our winner is Linda, who first typed 5. So Linda will reach out to you and get that prize to you. So unfortunately, we have 5 cities with direct access. They are Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, Montreal, and Halifax. Hopefully, Laurie, we will have 6 very soon.
That's great. Thanks, Sandra. So again, we'll open it up now to questions that any of you may have, and please submit those to the Q&A box, which is found in your Zoom toolbar. And actually, first I think we have a comment. We have a comment from Allison, who says her great-grandmother's name is on the immigration wall. Oh, that's really neat. She happened to be in Ireland last year when Taste the Island was on. That's great, Allison. Fantastic. And Darcel asks, are groups accepted to Lough Eske Castle? Oh, why don't I make sure we're all unmuted here? So let me unmute Lisa, David, here, just 1 second. Here we go. Great, we're all unmuted now.
Yes, they are. We have usually we do have a lot of transient guests. We accept normally about 30% of our base as a group during peak season maximum, but we do accept groups. And actually off-peak, which would be October to March, we have actually got exclusive buyouts, which include weddings. So we have an exclusive wedding actually coming up very soon.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. And Lori says, I'm bringing a group in May. Do you have anyone that does a group of 11 people from airport to hotels?
So I'll jump in and answer that one. Yes, absolutely. We have lots of transfer companies and DMCs on the ground in Ireland who would be able to look after that for you. So for any specific requests like that, feel free to reach out to me by email or by phone anytime. You'll have my details circulated again after the session, and I'd be happy to help you with introductions and for requests such as those.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Sandra. And Lisa, Darcel says thank you to you as well.
I see that. Thanks, Darcel, for asking the question.
Once again, feel free to use the chat box or the Q&A box for questions or comments.
You're a quiet group.
So far, anyways.
We must have covered it all. I think we probably answered everything already.
Here's hoping anyway.
Yeah. Betsy says, great webinar.
Thanks, Betsy.
It's raining in Galway if anybody wants to know, but the sun is coming out tomorrow for the whole of the rest of the year.
I see your question from Linda, so update on coronavirus Ireland. So I suppose like anywhere in the world, this is a situation that we're monitoring very closely. Ireland is absolutely open for business at the moment. There is no travel advisories in place against travel to Ireland at this time. But again, we're monitoring it very closely. And as well, we're monitoring it closely with our trade partners, so our tour operators and our airlines, most of whom has, as I'm sure you guys know, extended very flexible change and cancellation policies should anything change. But we'll be sure to update everybody if anything is announced.
Can I add to that, Sandra?
Of course.
You'll note that it just gives me an opportunity to tell you about the diversity in the programme that is Galway 2020. As I mentioned, an awful lot of the projects or the events or the gigs are in the outdoors, which an awful lot of them you can view by yourself. So there'll be unbelievable experiences, there'll be unbelievable constructions, but they will not be in crowds and they will not be in indoors. So for that reason alone, from an HSE point of view, that's the Health Authority in Ireland, a number of our events will be going ahead, because while they're very big and impactful, and you will see a lot of media on them, especially over the coming St. Patrick's weekend, we have an event called Savage Beauty. So please look out for that, especially from a photographic point of view. But it's to be viewed individually in the landscape, and therefore is safe, or a safer way of gathering to see and to participate in an event.
Great, Brigitte, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Oh yeah, Linda says good. That's a good reply to pass on.
Yeah, we'll be sure to keep in touch with all of you as the situation, as we're monitoring this situation. And again, available by phone or by email if you have any client queries, or if you guys have queries yourselves. We're always here, so just reach out at any time.
Okay, we'll just allow another minute or so, just in case anyone's typing out a question.
I think Martha is asking for the email address of David from Epic. David, do you want to share your email address one more time? And we will circulate the presentation.
It's David Cleary at epicchq.com. So I've just typed it as a response to you there, Martha, just so you have it. But David Cleary at epicchq.com.
Excellent. Thanks, David.
Okay, well, I think if anyone has any other questions after this, do reach out to us. Dan, I believe the presentation is shared with everybody who signed on?
That's right, yeah, definitely. So the recording of this will be distributed to everyone by tomorrow morning. So it gets generated as at the YouTube, the recording goes up on our YouTube channel, which is the Baxter Media YouTube channel. So if you search for Baxter Media, ours is the light blue and white logo, so the blue and white logo, and it'll be archived and uploaded tomorrow morning. So that'll be sent to everyone by tomorrow at the latest.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again to our partners. Thank you, David. Thank you, Lisa. And thank you, Brigitte. Thank you, Dan, for facilitating this session. And thanks to all of you for logging on.
Thank you all.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
See you in Ireland soon.
Bye,
Thanks
everyone.
so much, Sandra, David,
Bye-bye.
Lisa, and Brigitte.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Great job.
And thanks to everyone that tuned into the webinar today. We really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day. Thanks so much for joining us, and we hope to talk to you soon. Take care.